almost heaven. West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, all my memories gather round her. Find her lady, stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Misty taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eye. Country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads.
Max, how many generations has this farm been in your family?
I'm second generation.
Yeah, and your father, you were saying before, was a cray fisherman. He was all manner of things, greengrocer, but he finally decided to become a farmer. What was the attraction of farming for him?
Well, his father had been a farmer, about 20 kilometres west of here, but he didn't get on all that well with his father, and so he went to do other things.
Okay, and how was he as a farmer? Did he embrace it? Did he like it?
He was a money man, so he knew how to budget, and he knew profit and loss, and he knew what he needed to do to turn a profit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like for you as a young man growing up on a farm?
Well, it was definite freedom.
Yeah.
And
explain the freedom. What are the things you look back and think, my God, we were free?
Well, our parents didn't really parent us so much as we just did our thing. And when we were asked to do something, we did it without question.
Yeah.
So the farm was a team effort.
And you were saying that you did it without question because your father was 24 stone, 6'7".
Oh, you didn't muck around. Like, yeah, there was a high level of respect.
But apart from the respect, what was he like? Was he a fun guy to be around?
He was, no, I wouldn't say he was fun. I'd say he was very focused.
Yeah.
And he meant business. He had a lot of time, he put a lot of effort into politics, more state level and, like bigger picture politics rather than local government type thing. He wasn't a politician, but he was, all about farmers' affairs, and he, even back in those days, he knew that our government was pretty much corrupt.
So he wasn't a silent voice then, he was active?
No, he wasn't a silent voice. He reported as a farmer reporter for the ABC, and
wow,
lots of people have heard about Dad and the things that he took exception to in his farming life.
Yeah.
I wish he was around now in a lot of ways through this COVID era and just everything that's going on, because he would have been in his element. He was a fighter, and he was a very, very capable man.
So are you a fighter? Just before we go into the main interview, though, this is the third time we tried to do this. This car, now, as far as I know, it's not a Dodge. What did you call it? It's a
Chev Bel Air or Biscayne.
It cost your parents $300.
Yes.
But you said there was 5 kids and 2 parents.
Yes.
All of you tall.
Yep.
Was your mum tall as well?
Yes. Yep. She was about 6 foot.
So you got
So,
you got 7 giant Australians in this incredibly gorgeous car, and you were saying, talk about when you were going to church out here in the country, that it was a community event.
oh yeah, yeah. Any church, whether it was church or going to the drive-ins.
Oh yeah, yeah.
As kids, we stayed on the farm pretty much all the time, unless it was school. So that was school bus. But for church, yeah, heading to church if it was a wet day. Everyone that was heading in that direction on that road on that day worked together as a team to get us all to the to where we were aiming to get to.
So that's all in your Sunday best.
Yeah. Every now and then you'd have someone that once they got going, they're like, see you later, wouldn't want to be or whatever.
But the community, it was just that was the norm. You just helped.
Yeah. I mean, if they figured that there were still enough people back there to help, it's all good. One's got away from it, and at least someone will be at church on time, sort of thing. So, yeah, it was a team effort. It really was real community back in the day. Everyone worked together. It just wouldn't work without the community.
Yeah, and even though seatbelts are, I saw back in the 70s something said about how many people were dying on the roads. It was thousands. Mm-hmm. So I understand the rationale of why they brought in seatbelts. But you said there was no seatbelts in this thing, so there's the 7 of you in this car, and the government is not in the car with you. Basically, they're just leaving your parents to decide how safe, the best way to get you guys around.
Yep. And out here, we never saw police.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I saw a policeman until I was like 17. Out here, there was no police presence at all.
So this is really a decaying symbol of a great freedom that the community had.
Yep.
Where you're basically the architects of your own future.
Yep. We didn't need police. We were just doing our thing. We didn't need to be enforced some moral compass.
Yeah.
We had it. We knew what we had to do.
So you weren't all killing each other
No.
with this, you're actually just getting on and helping each other.
There was just a whole pile of happiness and people just doing their thing.
Yeah, so you didn't need the government telling you what to do all the time or having camera in your face checking you're doing the right thing.
No need at all. It creates more problems than you could ever... Yeah, I don't know.
Can I say, so here we are, you're on this farm now, and we're just going to get the COVID thing out of the way. I know a lot of people think COVID's over, but the remarkable story here is that you decided to go to Canberra to the big protest. Why did you decide to go first? Because you knew you were going to have trouble with the border. Why did you decide it was important to go to Canberra?
Well, we worked out that there was something wrong, and there was a bigger picture that we didn't necessarily know about. And I think the only thing I can put it down to really is a collective consciousness that was coming in through the ether. I had an overwhelming feeling that I had to be where the action was to find out what the hell was going on.
Yeah, me too.
It was not something that I really had a choice over.
Would you call it a calling to go?
It was an absolute calling or a demand almost.
Yes.
I had no choice.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
Yep.
I was in Canberra interviewing people, and everyone said the same.
Yep.
I had to come.
Yep.
It was like called.
Yep, and just everything fell into place. I literally had a call from someone who said there's a vaccine injuries truck that's just been branded up, an elderly gentleman who's got a stack of grandkids and doesn't want them vaccinated. It was the week before we headed over to Canberra, and he said, would you like to pick the truck up from down in Perth, and you can drive it around for the day down in Perth so as many people as possible can see that. So we did that. Then it was brought up here, a little bit of maintenance on it because he just bought the truck specifically for the purpose.
Wow.
And then we, I think it was a Tuesday, after ringing a few people that I thought would be pretty keen, not so much.
Did that surprise you?
Yeah, it did surprise me, in fact. So then I called a mate from another town about 50 k's away. Well, he's a farmer. And he said, yeah, I'll come. Because I'd been informing him about the jabs, and that it just didn't make any sense, because he was quite a compliant man. He trusted his government, and he'd had 2 jabs, and I think the second one had affected him a little. So he was pretty keen to find out what was going on too. So we just chucked 2 mattresses in the back of the truck.
So you went, so they say we're all cooks and anti-vaxxers, but you actually took someone who's double jabbed to Canberra in the truck.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
So he was dealing with the fact that he felt suddenly I've been betrayed by the people I trust as the government.
That's it.
Yeah. It's fascinating, isn't
Yep.
it? Yeah. Now, in Canberra, you claim that you were affected by the LRADs, which a lot of people are claiming they're affected by some weapons. What was the effects you felt?
Yeah, well, claim or not, it was indisputable.
Yeah.
It happened. It's fact.
So what
we all
were
saw
the
it.
symptoms you saw?
So very interesting. I would say strategic, in that the symptoms are virtually identical to COVID symptoms.
Oh, wow.
So cold sweats, headache, fever, headache, lethargy, but no chest infection at all. But you did get a sore throat.
What would you say to all those people who claim, well, maybe because there were so many people there, there's a pandemic, you just picked up COVID, which was the fear of the Canberrians?
Yeah, there's an Australian ism that I could use, but I won't.
You can. It's Cafe Lockdown, you can.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
It just it wasn't. It also went along with what you would think was the worst sunburn you've ever had.
Yep.
That was everywhere.
Yeah.
Around your crotch.
So even underneath your clothes?
Yeah. Underneath your clothes. Underneath your, like I had a sombrero hat that was probably 1 metre across. And my scalp was completely cooked.
Underneath the hat?
Everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, and you could literally, when they turned it on, after about 3 minutes, you could smell the burning. You could smell the human flesh burning. There's no doubt.
I was burnt like, I mean, I live outside now, but I was burnt like a post office box. You know, I was, and instantly. And to be honest, I've interviewed loads of people who went there, I mean loads, who claimed the same. They were really injured, burnt halfway down their face or underneath their clothes, or their kids were burnt, you know, in circles. So it would appear that they used a weapon against us, even though we weren't actually violent against them at all. Did you see any violence from us against them?
Zero.
Yeah.
From us, I saw incredibly, I mean, I was next to the Paul's big black truck.
Yes.
And the police were extremely aggressive.
And they claimed, said they told him to go forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was right next to the truck. They asked him to stop.
Yep.
And he stopped.
Yep.
And the crowd wanted him to keep going and all of that sort of stuff, but he was stopped. And then the police instructed him to continue on up the hill.
Yeah.
So he continued on up the hill. I was there, I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been in Canberra. They're appealing that now. But let's talk about when you came back from Canberra, and because you had to cross the border, which was sealed. And even though you're a Western Australian native,
Yes.
basically you're not allowed back in your state.
Yep.
How did you get back in?
Well, it's a bit of an interesting story, but in fact, we broke down 60 kilometres before the border.
Okay.
So our truck did a water pump.
Yeah, wow.
So, and 2 absolutely beautiful Australians that had actually been over to Canberra for the rally pulled up and gave us a lift into town with their little baby.
Which town was that? Border town?
So they took us into Border Town. Border Village, I think.
Yeah, Border Village.
Border Village. And they were adamant they were heading back into WA by hook or by crook, and they, certainly one of them wasn't vaccinated, and a lovely Aboriginal lady.
Oh, wow, cool.
And so she was the first that I know of to be arrested coming into WA.
Fascinating.
So she ended up in I believe it was cell 3 at the East Goldfields jail.
That'd be in Kalgoorlie.
In maximum security isolation. So, yep.
Incredible.
Yep. So
that'd be an interesting story to know, because we know some got arrested. We haven't actually met one yet. But so what? You got a water pump brought out to you?
So the person that owned the truck organised a water pump for us.
Yeah.
And us being, I mean, I'm pretty conservative sort of a guy, and I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. So we decided, well, we're waiting for this water pump, and we'll isolate ourselves at Border Village for 14 days, and wait until we've isolated and proven that we're all good, and then we'll head back into WA. But during that time, a couple of things happened that I didn't plan on. One of them was my throat started to close up.
Oh.
I think it was a combination of all the stress and anxiety of the government through the police force attacking us, but also the effects, the stress involved with that and the effects of the microwave weapon. My throat closed up and I couldn't eat. So, I'd sip on a water bottle all day long, and after a day I might have managed to drink a cup of water.
Right.
My throat just closed up completely.
Has this happened before?
Yeah, I've had it since I was 11 years old.
Oh, so this is some sort of condition?
Yeah, initially it was drinking a glass of kerosene during winter coming home from school. And,
that's where it started?
Yeah, kerosene on the kitchen bench, back in the days when kerosene was clear.
Yeah.
And I was a runner, so I ran everywhere. I don't think anyone ever saw me walking.
Yeah.
And so I ran into the house. There was water on the bench, convenient. Bam, down it went.
Oh, my
No
Lord.
problem at all. In hospital, all the stuff, blah, blah, blah. But also from the age of 4, it was my job to fuel up the cars on the farm and track anything that needed petrol mainly, but sometimes diesel. Siphon hose out of 44-gallon drums on a cement.
At 4 years old?
Yeah, started at 4. Yep. At 5 years old, if there was a car that ran out of fuel on the farm, I would get the belt.
Wow,
Because it was my job to make sure the cars were fueled up. Yep.
Wow, okay, so that's sucking a lot of fuel down.
Yeah.
So you think this might have affected you all your life then?
Oh, yeah.
And so is there a treatment you do for that?
Well, it's varied along the way. So operations, my first operation was at 12, and that was an operation done by Mr. Baron Hay, and they literally cut a muscle that was knotted or whatever it was. But then years later, they started. It's called a balloon dilatation, and they stretch your esophagus. You've got to be very, very careful because it can rupture. Mm-hmm. And because I'd originally had an operation on my throat and there was so much damage, and because it happened when I was a child, while you're still growing, it was a bigger issue. Adult men can have, they can siphon all of that sort of stuff, but their throat is already developed.
Yeah, I understand.
So, sorry, where were we at?
So it's just saying this treatment, so when your throat closed up at Border Village, was there a treatment you could do? Did you need any medication for it?
Well, yes. So once my throat had closed up, I couldn't do anything about it because it was a tablet.
Okay.
That you crushed up. Well, I would have had to try and crush it up and get it down, but because I was barely even able to get water down,
wow.
and this tablet wouldn't do anything at that stage anyway. Once it's closed up, you've got some pretty serious issues.
And you hadn't taken the tablets with you? Or
I'd been taking tablets over east, but they only do so much.
Okay.
They help keep your acid levels under control.
Yeah.
But a combination of different things. I mean, I'm a married man. I've been married for 20 years.
Yeah.
And, eating good, wholesome food that keeps your throat, if you're eating beef, mutton, every time you have a mouthful of beef or mutton, it is like having a balloon dilatation. It stretches your throat as it goes down.
Yeah.
But me being a farmer and also being a bit of a tight ass, I didn't want to be a drain on our farm because we weren't in a particularly good financial situation. So we loaded up the truck with canned food. So I'd been living on canned food, not substantial food that was stretching my throat.
Yeah.
And I think it was a perfect storm of a whole pile of different factors that put me in a world of trouble.
So by then you had to get back, really.
Yes.
To get back home.
Yep.
Now, Border Village to here is probably about 1,000 k's, or actually no, it's about 1,500.
We worked it out by the back roads. If we took all the back roads, we could get back to the farm in 24 hours and under 1,500 kilometres.
Yeah.
And we wanted to try and abide by the rules as much as possible of the, that ridiculous...
Good to go form.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
So we worked out through a off-road book that we had how we could get home under the 1,500 kilometres.
Did you go through Border Village first?
Yes, we did. But when we went through, we thought we were actually doing the right thing. We'd been aboard Border Village for about 10 days.
Yeah.
And we'd heard, I think it was Channel 7, there were reporters there at the village, and they said that the border was open as of midnight, and people could come back into WA.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're out in the, it's pretty.
It's very
remote out there. And when you've got a Channel 7 report, I think it was Channel 7 or 9 reporter, giving us that information when we were sitting literally 10 foot away from where they were speaking to the camera. So we thought, right, midnight, we're free.
Yeah, so you take off.
Yeah, so we pull into the, so you've got to get a picture of the way it was.
Yeah. I got done too. I had to have one when I came across.
It was also, at that point in time, our government, I think, was paying Eastern Staters, I think it was $3,000 to go on a holiday to WA. So there were literally kilometres of cars up the highway waiting to come through at midnight.
Yeah, wow.
So, of course, they would all have to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
But paying people to come into WA, even though the authorities knew that the vaccine didn't stop COVID and didn't stop the spread of COVID.
Yeah.
But also all around Border Village was completely packed. There was probably 15 traffic control vehicles with flashing lights.
Oh, my Lord.
It was like a high stakes pressure scenario.
Yeah.
You would never believe it.
Yeah.
It was full on.
So you finally got through there and you headed off on your way.
Yeah. So we headed home and so we did our thing. I think it was Balladonia.
Yep.
Turn at Balladonia, go across the airstrip and heading towards the inland highway.
Oh, so there's a road from Balladonia to get back. Okay, yep.
Yes. So inland highway is what we were aiming to. So once you get to the inland highway, you can then drive into Kalgoorlie and continue on through. And
that's pretty remote territory out there too.
Yeah. But I mean, we're farmers.
Yeah, I get it.
And we drive on gravel roads more than we drive on bitumen roads.
Yeah.
Time-wise, anyway.
Yeah.
And so we had a big truck. We were confident. It's all good.
Yeah.
No problem. We had fuel. We had food. We don't need much.
But there was a problem on that road, wasn't there?
Well, there was a problem, yes. We, it was probably the roughest road I've ever been on in my life, and that's saying something because I've travelled around Australia a lot.
Yeah.
So a rutted road with crab holes and you name it, it had it.
And you're driving at night?
Yeah, night and day.
Yeah.
But when we came undone was night time, and we drove into a bog hole that you couldn't see.
Oh, wow.
Once daytime came, you could see there were no ruts, and there was a side road that came in, sort of a station road maybe.
Yeah.
I think there might have been some mining surveying done out there or something.
Oh, yeah.
And the water had come down that road and just soaked into the soil, and all you could see was the soil around there was darker.
Yeah,
There was no water.
Yeah.
There was no rut, because we were the first person to drive on that road since it had happened.
Yeah.
And we ploughed into it, and we were bogged.
Oh, so,
Yep.
so what happened then?
So, rightio, we were pretty stuffed. So at that stage we had a rest, and I had to be incredibly careful because
Of your throat?
I was running out of energy.
Yeah.
Starting to have problems with my eyesight, was even worse than it usually is anyway.
Yeah.
Not that it's that bad. I mean, I don't need glasses, but so my sight was getting worse and all of that sort of stuff. And in the morning, we fired up with getting our truck out of bog. There was no doubt we were going to get out of bog. We had shovels, and we know how, as country people know.
Yep.
And we were probably 15 minutes off being out of bog when 2 police cars turned up.
Wow.
So police what do you call them, wagons with a fiberglass box on the back?
Yeah, the paddy wagons, yeah.
Yep. Yep. So
And they came from behind you? They were looking
No,
for you?
they came from in front. So they'd come from Kalgoorlie along the inland highway and into us. We were about 15 kilometres, I believe, from the inland highway.
Yeah.
So they pulled up a couple of 100 metres away from us. They spent about half an hour putting on all their PPE and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then came over to us and, said that we were under arrest and all of that sort of stuff. And I made it very clear that I didn't want to make life uncomfortable for them. So they tell us what to do, we'd do it. After seeing the violence perpetrated during COVID, I was concerned that they'd just put 2 bullets in each of us and leave us there.
Yeah.
And no one would ever know until eventually they found us.
The violence was pretty profound.
Yeah.
You know, from the pepper spraying of Mary, shooting people at the shrine, all the other violence we saw in Melbourne, and so you had a reason to be concerned.
Yep. So we were incredibly compliant.
Yeah.
Although I would not contract with them. So when they were asking me whether we understood, the charge, whatever, what was it? They were saying failing to comply with the direction.
Yeah.
And I just said, well, I don't understand. I don't understand much of what's happening at the moment.
Yeah.
The world's gone crazy.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. I let them know that we had significant health issues and that really I needed a doctor and a hospital.
Mm.
They weren't remotely interested in that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they took us into custody.
And so you went, how far from there to Kalgoorlie?
No, so they didn't take us back to Kalgoorlie. It was the shortest route by far.
Yeah.
So, but no, they didn't do that. So they loaded us in the back of one of them. Fortunately, they didn't handcuff us, otherwise I think I'd be dead. So they then chose to drive back along probably the roughest road I've ever been on in my life at speed with us, whenever there was a particularly large bump or rut or whatever it was, we'd hit the roof of the fiberglass canopy and then hit the floor and then hit the roof again and then hit the floor again. And this went on for hours.
Yeah.
At one point they very nearly lost control.
Wow.
And then they stopped and took a break. There was a second vehicle.
Yeah.
And they had no care factor at all.
Where'd they take you?
So they took us back to the overland, like what's it called? Is it the Great Eastern Highway?
Yeah.
And then to Norseman.
Norseman?
Yep.
Okay. So, all right. Yep. Norseman. Yep. So there's a jail in Norseman?
No. So they took us. So once they got us to Norseman, they pulled in at the BP.
Yeah.
They pulled up over the curb, and apparently they've got a camera in the back. They can see what's going on. So they knew we were bashed.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, they pulled up over the quite a high curb, and then stopped, and again, bang, bang, we were smashed up against the roof and down again. And then they came to the door opened up, and like they were completely innocent, big smiles on their face. Well, we're at the service station. Would you like some food? We'll get you some free food. And I was pretty much non-compass.
Yeah.
And my mate said, we need a hospital. We need,
Yeah.
we have an emergency.
Yeah.
And he was cradling me in the back. And he'd been cradling me for some time because I have problems with my neck at the best of times.
Yeah.
I'm a tall man.
Yeah. And you got this problem with your neck.
Yeah. So
he's cradling you.
It was serious. Oh yeah, he'd been cradling me for quite some time.
Did they take any notice of what he said?
No, they wouldn't do anything with him. So Jeff sort of got me coherent enough to say, I need a hospital. I have an emergency. And that pissed them off big time. They were not happy campers. So they slammed the door on the canopy, and they knew it was neck.
Yeah.
Slam over the curb. No care factor at all.
Wow.
Not gentle. I mean, I know going over a curb can be rough at the best of times. This wasn't that. This is a taxpayer paid for vehicle.
Yeah.
We don't care. Slam, bam. Let's see if we can hurt these guys some more.
Yeah. And the government had already basically told them, you can hurt these people.
Yep. I think so.
You can use their violence against these people because, or in their eyes, they weren't taking the vaccine, so they're endangering everybody else. That was their thing. But in actual fact, they just weren't being compliant. And that's what we saw at the shrine. When they came to shoot us, they weren't shooting us because we didn't take a jab. They were shooting us because we were holding on to the old Australia where we thought we had rights.
Yep.
And they were telling us, no, you're going to do what we tell you or we'll hurt you. And they did.
Yep.
So we're seeing the similar thing here. It's almost like government-sanctioned violence, to be honest.
Yep.
Yep.
So they then took us to the hospital in Norseman. They first of all, they're testing you for COVID.
Yeah.
Neither of us had COVID. I didn't particularly like the fact that I was being tested. But
You're in custody. You're tough. Yeah, you're in custody. That's right. That's right.
So anyway, they put me into hospital, and I had it's like a video consult thing with a doctor. He said, this is an emergency. He needs to have a scan, CAT scan, I think it is.
Yeah.
So they have one of them at Kalgoorlie, Kalgoorlie Hospital. So then they organised a hospital, an ambulance to take us to Kalgoorlie. And the same guy that drove the paddy wagon that bashed us for the period of time coming from where we were arrested, drove the ambulance. And there was roadworks or most of the way. A significant amount of the way from Norseman to Kalgoorlie.
Was he any gentler in his driving?
No, he wasn't. He took every opportunity he could. Wow. Going over the roughness of the roadworks. Yep.
It's interesting, isn't it? I have no memory of the police being this brutal when I was young. Maybe they were, but I've got no memory of it.
Yep.
But I've seen plenty of it during this time. I'm saying they're all like that, but there is a healthy percentage.
I think they selected in particular a certain type of character to deal with the dirty, disgusting anti-vaxxers.
Yeah. When you got to Kalgoorlie, what happened?
So, first of all, I went to the hospital.
Yeah.
Into there was like a makeshift extension onto the hospital. They were trying to give me painkiller vaccine stuff. Of course, I wouldn't have anything to do with that. I have a phobia for needles at the best of times, but at that point in time, after seeing what happened over in Canberra, I had no trust in the system at all. Even to this day, if I go into a hospital, I now have, I think it's PSD.
Yeah.
In fact, I can't go in by myself. My wife comes in and she keeps me calm.
Yeah.
And literally, without Janet there, you know, they've got the monitors on you, my heart rate goes through the roof, my blood pressure goes up, and it just continually on the way up, the doctors start panicking, and then Janet is the calming influence that brings me back.
Cool. So what they do in hospital? How long did you stay in the hospital? Because you went.
So no, they didn't. They didn't put us into the hospital bed as such.
Yeah.
It was just for the CAT scan
Okay.
or whatever they CT, whatever sort of scan it is. And I've had that scan before because I have problems with my neck, or have had in the past.
Yeah.
And I could tell at the time that it was a pretend.
Yeah. Okay.
They were faking it.
Oh, really?
So
Just to tick a box.
yeah, usually that scan takes about 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and you have to be dead still.
Yeah.
And they didn't ask me to be still. There was none of that. 2 minutes. It made a bit of a buzzing sound, and done. No, you're fine,
Wow.
and off to jail.
But now you're in a Kalgoorlie jail. What was the Kalgoorlie jail like?
Rightio. So police lock-up to start off with. So I was reunited with my buddy that I went across Australia with.
Oh, yep.
So we were there for, I think, probably just a couple of hours, a few hours, maybe something like that. And then we were we received a phone call. We don't know who it was from. A policeman held a phone probably a good metre away from the glass opening. I think it was glass opening to the cell, and we couldn't hear anything. We didn't know. I thought it might have been Janet or a doctor or something, because I had told the police that I had a medical emergency and blah blah blah. So I just said, please get us out of here. We have an emergency. I can't eat. I haven't been able to eat for over a week now. Blah blah blah, that sort of thing. And apparently, that was a hearing, like a court hearing.
Oh my Lord! And you
Apparently.
couldn't even hear it.
We didn't hear it. We didn't. I still don't know that was a court hearing.
Yeah.
What we know is that the powers that be say that there was a court hearing, and there is a transcript that we've gotten, and any word that could be understood to be a doing word was written down as indescript or ... So there was no substance to the transcript at all.
Yeah. So what happened after that?
So after that, we were then transferred to the Kalgoorlie lockup, maximum security isolation.
Wow.
Yep.
And that you're by yourself or with your friend?
No, with my friend. So that was a savings grace, because I'm pretty tough.
Yeah.
I can handle a lot, even if I am, weak. Mentally, I'm quite strong. Anyway, we got put into cell 6, which was at the end of the row, and so we were now inside.
And have you ever been in trouble with the police or in jail before?
Never.
So this is a first off.
Parking tickets. Oh, sorry, parking. No, never had a parking ticket. Speeding fines.
Yeah. So here you are for the first time in maximum security jail.
Yep.
For going to a protest.
Yep.
And in a democracy, it's a human right to protest, in a democracy.
Yep.
The only issue is crossing the border, and the front of our passports say there can be no borders. So we've got these emergency powers, which gives some borders. Here you are in a jail. How did you feel?
I guess it was surreal.
Yeah.
We've got to deal with this.
And how big was the cell?
Oh, decent size.
Okay.
Bigger than the cubicle from my boarding school days.
Okay. That's a good thing.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's not really an issue. I was on the floor on a thin mattressy thing. My mate he's used to the finer things in life compared to me.
So
I let him have the bed. And So that was all good. But the first thing they did in the morning was they brought in a big bag of clothes for each of us and a map of the jail area and what part of the jail would you like to be in because you're going to be in for a long time.
A long time?
Yeah. So, yep, we were going to be in sort of a year, 2 years sort of thing.
Is that what they were saying?
Yep.
On what charge? What for? Just crossing the border?
Failing to comply with the direction.
So how long did you stay in jail?
So we were in for 6 days.
6 days?
6 days.
So you think they were bluffing then and changed their mind? They were just trying to scare you, or...?
Well, how can I put this? After being over in Canberra as two bachelors for, it was about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
4 weeks with the travelling.
Yeah.
We were looking pretty rough. I hadn't shaved. We hadn't done any. We had clothes, and I wouldn't say I was absolutely disgusting, but I certainly wasn't looking my best. Certainly not looking like a person that's worked every day of his life and and has 2 kids going to good schools down in Perth, and doing the thing.
Yeah.
And I think they thought we were shit, that they could do what they wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what happened to the truck left out on the road?
The guy that owned it, once we got out of jail and got home, I contacted him, let him know where it was, and he had some resources, so he was able to locate it and get it back.
Okay.
We didn't go out there again because we were nervous that the police would potentially have planted drugs on it or something like that.
Yeah,
so
understood.
we stayed the hell away from the recovery of the truck. But they drove it out.
Okay, but those
We actually had it ready to go.
Oh, wow.
We were literally just having a rest before we hopped in the truck, and we would have been on our way.
Yeah. Look, going back to this 6 days in jail, you've still got this medical emergency that they've dismissed.
Yes.
How did that fare in jail? Did you finally get some medical assistance?
The only thing that had any chance of doing anything at that stage was a particular drink that helps wash food down, but that's Coca-Cola. Ice cold Coke stimulates the throat muscles, and the fizz and the force helps food go down. But I think possibly I was probably even too far gone for that. But they wouldn't let us have that. I think I got Coke on the last day, and that was through the tireless efforts of my lovely wife and my family doctor. That's another story that Janet can handle, but she was disgusted by the behaviour of the police and just the lies that the police were happy to tell, and the prison through the reception, just lies and deception.
So the 6 days you were in jail,
Yep.
you still weren't eating?
I couldn't eat anything, so they were just delivering food, and I couldn't eat it. No hope.
Wow.
So I think that went for 4 days, and then the last 2 days they relented and they brought me purified food, so blended up to like a paste.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get that down either. So I tried.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the toilet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Were you actually concerned for your life?
I was, absolutely. By the time, they were hounding us, trying to get us to sign documents in, like they had the lights off in darkness, and they're trying to get us to sign documents while we're in there. And I mean, I think if the lights were on, I wouldn't have been able to see. My vision was, I could barely see.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you think if it wasn't for your mate being with you? How do you think you would have fared?
I think I probably would have perished somewhere out there in the bush. I couldn't have come with the truck from Border Village without my mate backing me up.
Yeah.
The Australian tradition, I think, your mate.
Did you know they were going to let you out, or did they suddenly come and go?
No, we had no idea. I managed to get a call to, like, they let me call my wife.
Yeah.
So, there was a lot of luck involved with that, because our farm is in basically almost no mobile phone.
Yeah.
And our phone through Telstra works reliably about half of the time.
Oh, wow.
So luck was on our side.
Yeah.
And she organised a lawyer that started doing lawyer stuff. But my mate, they didn't let him make any phone calls, and it was on.
But doesn't he have a right?
Well, when you grow up in a world like
that's what I
us
thought.
in the
I thought
country,
you had a right
we
on a
don't really
phone
know
call.
our rights.
I know, but I thought just from TV, I thought you had a right to make a phone call.
You
Or
probably do.
Is that American?
You probably do, but from what I've seen, that's more a pretend right.
Yeah.
If they feel like giving it to you, they will, but if they don't, well, they won't. Because I don't think we actually have a legitimate judicial system, and I don't think we have a legitimate government. I think we have a criminal organisation masquerading as government.
So when you were let out, what was that like to finally get out? Was your wife there to meet you?
Well, first of all, the only reason Jeff, I think, got out was because on the phone call with my wife, I asked her to talk to my lawyer and organise if he would represent my mate. And he said he would, but he needed to be engaged by my mate. So I tuned Janet in to organise that, and I said, I will put my mate on the phone, and he'll have to ask the question very quickly, get the answer. So the phone call the day before, we were told we were going to have a court hearing in the jail. I took my call with the lawyer, spoke to him for about probably 30 seconds, and then I said, I'll hand Jeff over now, and handed the phone straight to Jeff. He asked the question quickly. Jeff said, yes, I engage you as my lawyer, but by then the prison guards were already dragging Jeff away.
Wow.
They didn't want him to be able to communicate.
Yeah, yeah. Incredible. This is what really interests me is how they treat their fellow Australians. I mean, these are Australians treating Australians like this. And your only real crime is you're challenging the government. You're not challenging it violently. You're just challenging it.
Yep.
And we're seeing this across the country. They don't like anyone challenging them.
Well, we just wanted to get home.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, like once we left Canberra, we've been attacked by our government, and our safe place is the farm.
Yeah. What was it like to finally get back here after such an odyssey? To go to Canberra because you wanted to protest like you felt you had a right to.
Yep.
And to get back here after being injured in Canberra and the ordeal in the prison, how the state treated you.
Well, we were still, it was still an emergency. I still hadn't been able to eat.
Yeah.
So it was...
So had you lost weight by then? Were you?
God, I was a bloody stick.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd lost a lot of weight.
Yeah. So they would have seen that.
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay.
So anyway, Janet got us home, got Jeff back to his parents. So that was good. And then it was straight into getting hold of doctor, getting a date organised for operation, which happened in fairly short order down at St John of God's, the cancer ward, because that's where they do the balloon dilatations.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was all pretty hectic and stressful.
How long did it take you to get back to a normal weight?
I I don't weigh myself.
Yeah.
But to get back to an
Or even feeling
to get
like
back to an some sort of an equilibrium,
Yeah.
probably took about a month.
Wow.
My sight still hadn't come back properly, and I haven't been the same like that.
And what about your kids when they saw you? Because when you left, you were dad. When you came back, you were a skeleton.
Yeah, well, unbeknownst to me, during that time that we were in jail and at the police station, Janet had driven to Kalgoorlie. So she saw us going into the hospital,
Yeah.
and she saw us being transferred to the. I think she saw us being transferred to the jail. Either that or one of the police told her. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
But it was. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought.
Oh, it's just how your children, when your children first saw you, when they saw you for the first time.
Well, they were
after
disgusted. Absolutely disgusted. They saw, because they were both there, and we don't shield our children from anything.
Yeah.
And we had nothing to hide. What do they say? The truth will set you free. I had no guilt, no anything. It was just disgust for a government and a police force that would do what they did to us.
Yeah.
And it's changed my children. They because obviously they know their dad.
Yeah.
They love their dad, and they could see what was going on.
Yeah.
And they knew that I had a problem with my throat. They knew it was an emergency, and they both knew that the system was not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
They know the difference. I mean, inherently, almost all people in Australia know the difference between right and wrong. It's just whether or not they've been, manipulated.
Yeah.
Through virtue signalling, through media, through whatever, to believe an alternate reality.
Yeah. Well, right now, the other last question is, as your wife suggested, do you think they were extra brutal to you because you guys were driving a truck with vaccine injuries plastered on the back?
Well, based on the other people that were arrested that came in, absolutely. They went hard after us. They wanted to put us in jail for a year or two. They went pretty hard. Yep.
Just waiting on this wind. I'll see how you keep going with it. Now, we've had a lot of time now, people saying COVID's over, everything's gone back to normal. But here we are now with this war in Iran, and our country's out of fuel. We seem to be going into recession. As a farmer, how are you going into the storm of what's coming now as a farmer?
Right. Well, I would argue there's nothing normal about what's been going on since
I'm
COVID.
with you, man. I'm with you.
But it's actually been liberating. I now know that I can't trust my government. I now know I can't trust people in uniform. I now have found a group of people that know the difference between right and wrong, and that has been a major stabilising factor that has helped us. We know that what's going to happen, like fuel shortages. We knew that Iran would blow up. We made sure we had enough fuel. We knew that fertiliser comes through the strait next to Iran. We had enough fertiliser. When you're awake, when you know what's going on, it helps you to navigate what the government, because our government is not our government. It's someone else's government. It's controlled. They're just puppets.
So you don't think they're serving us anymore?
No, there's no chance. Maybe Pauline Hanson, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
You think about the politicians that the mainstream media and the government and the system dislike, the ones that they're always telling us that, he's had a gun charge, or he's had this, or he's had that. These bad people. The reason you're getting that information is because the reason the population has been told that those people are bad and the only time you ever hear about them on the radio or the TV is because they've done something bad, is because those are the only people that are actually on your side. They are for the people, and the government and the opposition can't have that.
Yeah. It's like more redeeming at the moment in the Liberal Party. They're
Yep.
kicked out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Labor and Liberal, they're controlled by the same people, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're not for us.
What do you think out here, though? I mean, you said you're prepared, but around here, what about most farmers? What do you think they're going to face coming? Do you think they're going to not put crops in, or half crops, or... I mean, this is because there's rumours now we could be facing a famine and all manner of things. And what are your thoughts, or what's the feeling in the community about everything's happening right now?
Well, I've shrunk away from the community a bit. We've gone into self-preservation mode. I remember, of course, we're dirty, disgusting anti-vaxxers.
That's true.
But I know enough. Farmers are on the edge at the best of times. Fortunately, farmers are incredibly optimistic when it comes to farming. That's what they do. I mean, anybody that's a farmer, they're not doing it for money. They're doing it for the love of nature and growing things, looking after their farm, but also that has transformed into surviving, not being the generation that loses the family farm, or not losing all the wealth that they acquired before they chose to buy a farm, which is what my situation is. So farmers are going to be very careful this year. I'm quite sure that less area will be cropped. Probably the people that are lucky enough to still have sheep will increase their numbers, like natural production. There'll be a lot of very, very nervous farmers.
The other thing about farmers too, there's a high suicide rate. Is a lot of that got to do with what you said, the losing the farm, the generation that loses the multi-generational farm? Does that play a factor in the suicide rate, or just trying to understand what are the driving forces behind such a huge suicide rate?
Well, obviously every man's different, or woman's different, but for me, my gut feeling is it's not necessarily just the potential that you may lose the farm. It's when a farmer realises that his government, and I know it's just a perception, but the perception that city people don't care about farmers, things happen in farming. There may be a new government policy that says we'll sponsor farmers to spend money on water supplies and fences, and, to help you be more sustainable farmers, and more profitable, and good things. So, and just after the end of that time when farmers have borrowed a pile of money through government loans or systems, then suddenly there's an export ban on cattle that the government imposes. And all of those farmers realise, in my mind, that they've been played. They've been manipulated into a situation where they've got more debt than ever, and the government has now cut off their potential for income. I believe it's strategy.
So they actually feel like they've been betrayed.
They've been betrayed. Once you get to the point where you realise your government hates you and you're not making much money, if any money, then maybe you're going to go down anyway. Some people can't handle that, and that's what I believe.
If our government were to change, what do you think farmers need now to start getting back to their full potential?
They need to be left alone.
Do you know, I interviewed a Polish woman once because I was asking people, give me a T-shirt slogan for freedom. I'm going to swear. And she said, and no one could come up with one, and she said, I'll come up with one. because I've been in it, and it's leave me the fuck alone.
We need to be able to just do our thing. We know what has to be done to grow a crop.
Like you did when you were young.
Yep. And I mean, how can I put it? Government, GRDC funding encourages best practice for certain type of farming which involves chemical farming. That's not what farmers wanted. All farmers used to be organic farmers. Farmers have been manipulated into a situation where they've become farmers that need to use chemical and all manner of things to try and stay ahead of the bank manager.
So it's like, I had another farmer tell me, like, the land is actually almost dead now. If it doesn't have the fertiliser, things won't grow.
Yeah, for the people that are the fertiliser in particular pretty much destroys soil microbes, mainly the fungal microbes in the soil, beneficial fungal in the soil. And so it's a bit like becoming a drug addict. Your farm is addicted to fertiliser. Now you can get off that, you know, once you learn you can do that, but there's a cost involved, and a lot of people can't afford that cost because they're 6 months off having the bank take your farm.
So the farmers want to be healthy, they want to grow nutritious food, they want to have the land arable, is that the word? They want to have the farm that it can do that, but instead we're killing the soil to feed the banks and to pay the profits.
Pretty much. They've been manipulated. They've been corralled into a system that is not good for them, not good for the consumer. They've been corralled into a system that treats them with contempt.
Early on, a lot of people have heard this, but early on when I was doing talks in Melbourne in the marches, a young woman came up to me and said, Michael, you've got a moral obligation not to sell hopelessness no matter how tight its grip. And since then, there's been a lot of times when you really feel the grip of hopelessness. Mm-hmm. So here we are now. Where do you see the hope moving forward for Australians or for humanity in general?
Well, people are waking up. People are starting to realise that things are not right. People are starting to make a decision to not accept the unacceptable. And it's a movement. It's growing gradually across Australia. We're seeing it through the One Nation movement. People are realising, rightly or wrongly, that, well, when I say rightly or wrongly, Pauline Hanson has been true to her word for a very long time. Now, I'm not sure myself, but I will vote for anything that offers hope. There is hope. I love Rod Culleton. The media has said a lot of bad things about Rod Culleton. I believe he's a good man. I believe he's a changed man from what he was before COVID.
We're all changed since COVID.
Yep. I think he's done amazing things. I'd love to see a great Australian party, and I'd love to see Australians get on board with that. But I'm more than happy in a situation where I can't vote for a great Australian party member. I'll vote for a One Nation member.
And can I talk about farming too? Because your partner said there's a regenerative farming is taking off across Australia.
Yes.
But what are you doing? Are you still using tons of chemicals on this land?
No.
Or
So
have you changed?
we bought into farming in 2016, and of course we had a big loan. So fortunately I'd met a man that had very good advice, and he said if you're going to do chemical farming, there are particular chemicals you do not use, and if you're going to use the fertilisers, use things that stabilise the fertilisers and make them more like a natural fertiliser. And we employed those rules. We did research, we studied, and we found a way of minimising the damage. And turns out I'm actually not a bad farmer. So we grew some good crops. We had some good years as well. So we've gotten ourselves into a debt-free situation.
Fantastic.
Which is great. And now we are organic. We're just not certified organic because I don't have enough confidence in what's happening in our country. So
Do you have a trouble also with neighbours? Like if a neighbour is sowing stuff that's
yes,
GMO, their seeds could blow across into yours?
We do. And there's only so many battles you can fight. And when you get an irate farmer, when you say, mate, could you stop spraying that with 35-kilometre breeze onto my farm, please? Because it's affecting my health. And literally I'm going to have to end up going to hospital soon. And then you get an extremely angry response from them and you realise they're under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
They're desperately trying, they don't want to spray with a 35-kilometre breeze onto your farm. They're desperate to get their paddocks done in the window where they can potentially make some profit. So I understand where they're coming from. So I just say, to whoever it is, like, you must be under so much stress at the moment. This is not you. I remember you from when we were young blokes. You're not that person. And, then that's a talent that I've learned from Janet. She's managed to help me understand that when people are in pain.
I think they call that to walk in another man's shoes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So it is an issue, but once they realise, they do seem to make an effort. Every now and then it pops its ugly head up a bit, but we work with it. And I'd be lying if I didn't say at times in my past that I hadn't maybe sprayed in situations where the wind was a bit too much or whatever in my former life.
Okay. 2 questions to finish. Get the ant off your leg. 2 questions to finish. 1, do you regret not taking the jab? Like Karl Stefanovic now regrets taking it. Do you regret not taking it?
Hell no. Like,
even though you've been to jail, even though you've done all this stuff?
No. It's been a learning curve. There's something very empowering about knowing what's going on.
Yeah. Once
you know what the risk is, where the obstacles are, you can dodge them.
Yeah.
I really feel for people that have no idea. They are walking into a trap. And, the trap's been set, and if they keep on walking blindly into it, unfortunately, we're all stuffed. And the awake people in Australia, they know this, and that's part of the reason why we've all tried to wake people up. And we've been quite annoying at times doing it.
Yeah, that's right. So on the other side, actually, one more question before the final question. So you don't regret taking it, but how have you changed, for the worse or the better, for these last 6 years? Let's call it 6 years now, since you first heard of COVID to here. How have you changed as being someone who's actually challenged the government?
Well,
because people are scared of joining us because they think, I'll have the government after me. So how have you suffered or gained in these last 6 years?
I hug a lot more people now.
Did you hug me, you big fucker?
Yeah. Hug is number one. Connection, community, building trust and respect. That's all top of the list. I believe that 99.9% of Australians are really good people, but I think about 70% of them have been misled. They've been tricked. But they're waking up rapidly, in my opinion.
Last question. I know you have distrust of the government, distrust of the police, and you've been brutalised by the state. But do you still love the country, Australia?
Oh God, yeah. And we're just sidestepping them. I played footy in my younger day. If you got someone big and angry and coming at you hard, you just sidestep them and keep going.
I'd hate to meet someone bigger than you.
There are a few, believe it or not. So just sidestep them, and we're building an alternate world.
So we're on the path to somewhere better.
Yeah. I mean, we know of a group of, we know of dozens of groups, in fact, of people that are just quietly building an alternate world where that's based on trust and being helpful. At the moment, we do it all the time because the unvaccinated have been financially hit in so many different ways. So we all support each other. We give each other lifts. We're sharing. We're all sorts of things we're doing to value our fellow man.
Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country